believe that what the Democrats did to Donald Trump, which I covered, which was the job, to impeach a guy when you know you have no chance of getting him removed, okay? Zero chance. That was a political indulgence to do nothing but distract from the interests of the people, and you were creating an impression of a standard that you never had any intention of holding up yourself. And the Democrats have proven the problem with their actions. Those New York cases, Charlie, were crap. And they only brought them to try to slow down Trump. We both know it. And what they did with Kamala Harris is proof that they don't give a shit about any higher standard. They didn't even allow for democratic process in their own stupid little club where they can do whatever they want.
Well, see, I don't want to.
I want to talk about how Democrats ruin themselves in the eyes of independents, non-Democrats, right? Because Democrats have this thing they like to do with every Republican administration that comes in. If they happen to be the predecessor, they love to put out this narrative as if, hey, I hope Donald Trump will build and preserve our fairly strong economy. And you already see the rebranding they're trying to do. And this is why I think the Democrats have ruined themselves. The Democrats, exposed to everybody, are known as the party of liars and tricksters, manipulators, right? You saw Chris Cuomo. Oh, you're the party for democracy, but you don't have it in your own party, right? You want to impeach a guy. You're talking about the guy's going to come in and weaponize the DOJ, but you weaponize the DOJ first. And it's this kind of double speak, back talk is what infuriates many people who's paying attention. Right? Let's look into the article. In remarks delivered Tuesday, Biden claimed that the incoming Trump administration is going to be inheriting a fairly strong economy. It sounds similar to claims that Obama made years after Trump. During the 2020 campaign, Obama was saying, that was my economy. And I was like, yo, BS. Why? George Bush can say the same thing. No, technically that was George Bush's economy, Obama. But for some reason, Democrats have this idea that they never do anything wrong, and that leads to their undoing. You're telling me that you want to take credit for everything good that happens in America, but you don't want to take credit for anything you don't want to take responsibility for anything that's bad in America? When COVID happened, no one was saying, oh, that's Obama. No one said that. And the funny part is, Bill Clinton is saying this stuff, and it's honestly pissing me off. Like, you saying you're a fairly strong economy, yet if you have a fairly strong economy, Joe Biden, why is it that, a few days ago I reported on this, Joe Biden got hit with devastating news that according to a poll, voters have delivered a devastating verdict on Joe Biden's time in office, branding him the worst president in almost 50 years. But out of your mouth, Joe, you're talking about a fairly strong economy. Trump, throughout the whole primary, the election between him and Harris, he was winning on the economy. People agree with his views on the economy. Illegal immigration, the fact that you had all these open border policies, you're so lenient on illegal immigration, it was taking jobs away from American citizens. Illegal immigrants were causing budget problems for sanctuary cities like Chicago, New York, Boston, to the point where Boston was asking their residents to take in some illegals into their homes. But you talking about a fairly strong economy? This is nothing but narrative. And I hope to preserve the progress. He's already trying to trying to condition the minds of the American people to think that Trump's economy, all its successes that he knows is going to be a good success, so he can sit there and claim credit in the back door. And I don't understand why Democrats do this tactic, because it makes them look bad, to me anyway, because this is disingenuous. Your term is your term. Whatever happens in your term is your term. You shouldn't be trying to take credit for nothing. But he probably learned that from his boy, Obama. And here's a clip I want to show you of Bill Clinton attempting to do the same thing to try to say, oh, Trump's economy was good because it was Obama's economy. And I'm going to show you proof that they're lying. Let's take a look.
Well, the average person believes, whether they voted for President Trump or not the first time, that we survived it. Right. And they give him perhaps too much credit for the fact that in the first 2.5 years or so of his presidency the first time, the economy got better. I think the facts are that he inherited the end of the Obama era's recovery. We went from 8 million jobs in Obama's last 2 years to 6.5 million in Trump's first 2 years. But there was no inflation, and people felt it. So we had to see that election the way they did and answer that and start with that. So when we didn't answer it, it was like we left the pink elephant in the living room. There is a reason why we're already the longest continuously existing democracy in history. It's hard to save one. That's fine. But if you're going to fight to save it in an election system with all these forces raining down on you, that's the game you got to play. You got to deal with the issues that affect other people's lives. And the same thing's true all around the world. Look at this upheaval is happening. People are losing faith in institutions, and in many, many places, they're going to reward the people that destroyed their faith. I wouldn't bet against America. So far, everybody that's bet against us has lost money. We just got to stay after it.
So, Bill Clinton, there's no justifiable reason why people are losing trust in institutions? Could it be that all these misinformation experts are overwhelmingly left wing? These experts most of the time get things wrong. Like, make it make sense. People are looking at the track record of these institutions. When you were telling us about COVID was the number one thing that accelerated the harm on these institutions. And you saying that Trump is the cause? No, Trump is the effect of the distrust. They perhaps give him too much credit for the fact that he inherited the end of Obama's era of recovery. How could we forget? Here's Obama. Obama to Trump, what magic wand do you have? When Trump said, oh yeah, we could create a lot of jobs. We're going to create so much jobs, you don't know what to do with it. Obama was saying, what kind of magic wand you got? That's impossible. So if Obama's saying, that's my economy, wouldn't Obama be able to predict, yeah, that's possible because it's my economy and this is what we forecasted? Like, make it make sense. Democrats are the kind of people that when they had a team, like it's like a basketball team. Let's say Obama was the star of a basketball team and their record was 0-60. Trump came in, replaced Obama, and he took that team 60-0. And then Obama saying, oh, yeah, I built that team. Yep, you didn't know how to manage it. Trump was able to get more out of the economy than you were. But you want to take credit for his work? No, that's not how we playing it, sir. That's not how we playing it. Well, and this moral indignation, this fake moral indignation that the Democrats seem to want to play, it's baffling to me. They have learned nothing. They absolutely have not learned anything, right? And I want to point to something that I remember. Letitia James, right? Because Bill Clinton and the Democrats, this is how they ruined themselves. In the beginning of the intro, Chris Cuomo came out and said, yeah, they kind of went with these frivolous lawsuits when they knew they couldn't get the guy. And it made them look bad. It ruined their brand. And then you hear Bill Clinton talking about how somehow it's America's ignorance. Like Americans don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. They don't understand things. Essentially assaulting the voter, right? And this is the problem that Democrats always effing do. They always blame everyone else but themselves. Here's a clip I want to show you of Letitia James, where even MSNBC was wondering if it was constitutional for her to do a blanket investigation into Trump and his kids in 2018. Let's take a look.
NBC News has exclusively learned that the newly elected incoming New York Attorney General plans to launch some sweeping investigations into President Trump, into his family. Letitia James tells NBC News, quote, we will use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions and that of his family as well. She plans to look into the following: Donald Trump's real estate holdings in New York, that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting with a Russian official, any government subsidies that Donald Trump received, whether he's in violation of the Emoluments Clause, the Trump Foundation. How big of a problem might this pose for a president, and what kind of standing does James have to look into some of these things?
Yeah, great questions. It will potentially pose a problem for Trump, but there are risks here. It's a very ambitious agenda. The Trump Tower meeting, for example. In addition, there are tricky constitutional issues here that are going to take to divert her into the courts, and that will be tricky. And she's an elected official, unlike the other investigators.
So with all that in the background, right? Democrats don't want to blame the fact that people don't trust the institutions anymore because Democrats perverted it and used it for political ends. And many people believe that it was political ends. If you look at the polls, most people believe that when Trump was getting prosecuted for his the hush money case and all that stuff, people saw it as politically motivated, and Letitia James helped facilitate that perception. Democrats' fault. But Democrats ain't blaming themselves. Because in Bill Clinton, when Bill Clinton was getting his analysis of the whole election cycle, this election, he didn't put any accountability to the Democratic Party, how they carried themselves, what issues they were running on. Like, imagine immigration. They're still fighting immigration. They're like, oh my God, this mandate for the American people is not to do mass deportation. Yes, it was. Trump didn't hide the fact that he was going to leverage mass deportations. But people on CNN, the liberals on CNN, they're still trying to preach to you, telling you that you should not want mass deportation, even though in polls, mass deportation is popular. He knows he's effed up. James Cardwell brutally calls out Biden for election loss, calls him the most tragic figure in modern politics. And it's this narrative that if he just dropped out sooner, Democrats would have had a better chance to win. I don't think it don't matter who a Democrat you put on here. They was going to get that slacking like Kamala got the slacking. And y'all the ones who picked it. The poll results are extremely interesting because they partially reflect America's profound partisan divide between Reagan and Obama had the same favorability, but Obama's unfavorability were higher. Meanwhile, Trump had the third highest favorability, but his unfavorability was second only to Biden's, dropping him in the rankings. Made his presidency so disastrous. It was his affirmative, proudly touted policies that drove inflation. But here he is in the same breath. Like, this is a man that don't want to recognize reality, that don't want to take accountability for what he did, right? Does that sound like a strong economy? I talk about it on my channel all the time that student loan forgiveness contributed 27% towards inflation. Government spending drives inflation. Government overspending drives inflation. This is a common thing with economics. But you have economics. Remember Biden's economic advisor? He could not explain how is it the government overspending money not cause inflation. He couldn't explain that. But he's talking about a strong economy. A lot of the jobs that Biden produced, a lot of them was government jobs, aka you using taxpayer money to create jobs. That, to me, in the consensus, the government job should not count towards the consensus. Make it make sense. You're using using government spending to artificially create more jobs to boost up your job numbers. And then when we go back and review, oh, look, we overcounted 818,000 jobs. How is that possible? The Guardian, a couple months ago, I show you the article. I always use it as my best example of the psyop, the deception that it seemed like liberals, Democrats, because we all know media journalists are the most liberal profession in America. They try to insinuate, oh, the economy is good. Here's why. They talk about stock market, all that stuff. The everyday American person doesn't believe in that. That's not a metric that America is judging the economy on. It's my wages. Real wages were down during the Biden years. Inflation was up 20% over compared to Donald Trump. And you talking about Joe Biden. You talking about Trump will preserve and build on his fairly strong economy. What metric is Joe Biden making this claim of? I don't know. Open borders that led to so much American weakness on the world stage that the two potential World War III starting points erupted. It was his values, his weakness, his corruption, and his senility that moved events. Sorry. I sincerely hope that history is incredibly cruel to Biden. He will have left the White House 50 years after seeing his sight on it, but I want his legacy to be tarnished in his own mind. Anyone who has wreaked such horrible havoc on this once proud nation deserves to be horribly aware of the disdain in which his corruption hold him. And this is the reality. But this is the accountability that Democrats are trying to run away from, right? Like, imagine that. You trying to craft this Obama narrative. Oh, Trump had my economy. Make it make sense, Obama. The stock market went up the moment Donald Trump won the election. Donald Trump is doing policy changes. He's doing stuff differently than how you were doing. So you don't want to give Trump credit for anything that helped super boost your economy. But you want to pretend that, oh yeah, Trump's economy was my economy. But in your same breath, before Trump got into office, June 2016, you said what kind of magic wand you got. Implying that your economy, you didn't see it was possible, Obama, for Trump to get the results he got in 2019. But you want to take credit for it. Make it make sense. Somebody lying. And it looks like it was you, Obama. And this is exactly what ruined the Democratic Party. Here's Stephen A's segment, because I think I want to end it off with this good segment of him criticizing the Democratic Party. And you're going to hear a lot of criticism, because the number one thing that ruined the Democrats' image, their brand, their party, is their inability to accept accountability and responsibility for their wrongdoing in a situation and how they contribute to their own, defeat. And if they don't want to recognize it, hey, that's good for me. That's good for me. That's good for the Republican Party. They'll keep losing. But it's infuriating how they continue to act as if Trump didn't just win the election. Act as if Trump didn't just win the popular vote, first Republican to win the popular vote in I don't know how many years. That should be a signal saying, yo, we need to course correct. And I don't see that. But to me, it seems like Democrats lack humility. But I digress. Let's hear what Stephen A. Smith has to say about his party.
The news doesn't get any better in terms of how much they spent to win. The Harris campaign reportedly paid Al President sit down with a civil rights activist and an MSNBC host. According to records from the Federal Election Commission, the Harris-Walz campaign made two separate donations of $250,000 to Sharpton's group on September 5th and October 1st. Harris sat down with Sharpton for an MSNBC interview that aired on October 20th, nearly 3 weeks after the donations from her campaign to the National Action Network took place. How you think that looks? See, I know a lot of people going to sit up here and they're going to want me to get on Reverend Al Sharpton. I know a lot of people who would have taken the money. I'm not going to knock him for that. He was going to vote for her no matter what. He certainly wasn't going to vote for Trump. Oprah Winfrey and the $2.5 million. I didn't like that her production company received, but it wasn't illegal. It just came across as a bit disingenuous, because if you're that fervent of a supporter for Kamala Harris, why do you need to be paid? If you're a billionaire, especially, and it's $2.5 million. Now, Sharpton and the National Action Network, they don't have billions. I'm not going to knock them for taking the money. I don't applaud it. I don't think it looks great. But no,
especially if you're not transparent about it. Like, hey, look, I got money, I received money, just want to let you know, right? Because it's one thing if you got ahead of it and say, yeah, look, I'm being transparent here. But let's say you conducted an interview and then later on, like someone investigated and they found out, oh, it hurts your credibility even worse. And this is what MSNBC is going through. This is what Al Sharpton is going through right now. That's why they got the Black Church Initiative calling for his job, calling for him to at least be suspended until they investigate this further. Right? Kamala Harris's staffers and campaign managers, they don't want to take any accountability for how they ran Kamala's campaign. And I remember, I'm doing a victory lap here. I remember calling this out months ago, since October. If you look at my channel, October, I have a video, Kamala Harris pending collapse. That's what I put out in my video. I got a bunch of people disagreeing. Oh no, she gonna drive the black vote. She gonna this, that, all the little Democrats coming out, all the Kamala stands coming out, trying to say something on my channel. And all I did was wait. Because at the end of the day, we're all making claims. Who's going to win the finals? Lakers going to win the finals. The Raptors going to win the finals. Wait, we'll just have to wait. You said this, I said that. Who was right? Me. Because all I did was go based on her track record, how she ran when she was running for 2020. It's the same ish that happens. Old habits die hard. It's predictable. It was predictable. Leading indicators. Hey, is she doing the same mess that she was doing 2019? Yes. But for some reason, because the media was behind her, because she's marketing herself as a woman of color. Liberal media propped her up, put her on Time magazines, not taking interviews, as if she was the one that was running for 8 years. Not realize the reality is she had 3 months to make her case to be president. If I only had 3 months to be president, to make my case to be president, I'll go everywhere. I'll take every interview because I don't have the time to sit back and waste a month not doing any interviews, not getting my name out there. Taking politics out of it, that was a strategy error by her campaign and by her. That was I'm playing it safe. That was, I'm going to let the media push me instead of me pushing myself. And that's how you know the Democrats know that the media is behind them. And this is why I'm saying, I'm like, yo, how people didn't see this? But they want to be on my comment section disagreeing with me, acting like that. Oh, Kenny, you're a sellout. Oh, you're trying to get on right-wing channels. Oh, who's paying you? Oh, how long it took you to memorize that script? This is the comments I'll get from people who disagree with me. And who was right? Me. Make it make sense. Because my argument's always been, hear the claims out, then look at the outcomes. And the outcomes show me, yo, she ain't learned nothing from 2020. She ain't learned from her past. I remember on this channel, and I'm going to end it off with this final point. I remember on this channel, I put a flashback about when they were considering Biden should replace Kamala Harris with someone else. And one of the reasons that CNN said that they should remove Kamala Harris was because Kamala Harris does not have the ability to talk to non-liberals, non-Democrats. She only good in safe blue areas like California, because California is so one-party dominated that she could ignore non-Democrats and still win. Bad habits, anyone? So now you take that in a national level where you have to win states that are not so overwhelmingly blue, and she lost. It was obvious. All you have to do is look at the track record. But people were sitting here, the liberals were sitting here pretending that she was a good candidate. She's qualified. She's not qualified. If you only know how to talk to your own side, you're not qualified to be a national candidate, period. I don't care about your track record. I don't care about jobs you used to have. I'm talking about your ability, your skills. And Kamala Harris proved that she had none. Not at least to be president. But hey, keep pretending that people didn't want to vote for a biracial woman as president. Keep pretending. Keep giving yourself scapegoats. You're gonna keep losing. Because the truth is bitter. Medicine don't always taste good. And if you want to feel better, you gotta take this short-term pain for some long-term pain. But hey, keep pretending that I'm partisan. Keep pretending. Keep pretending. But the reality is, y'all effed it up. All the problems you complain about, all the issues you think Donald Trump ran on, you were the source of creating that in the first place. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? I'd like to hear your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching today in the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.